Faxanadu is one of the most epic early games for the NES. It's an action role-playing adventure with light Metroidvania elements, so if you like games like Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, the Battle of Olympus, or Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, you owe it to yourself to check out this one. Faxanadu is actually a spin-off of another game that never saw an official release in North America, Dragon Slayer 2 Xanadu. Dragon Slayer was a popular computer game series in Japan created by Nihon Falcom, the company that brought us the E series. The Dragon Slayer games never made a big splash in the US, where we only got two other games from the series, the underrated Legacy of the Wizard, which is actually Dragon Slayer 4, and Dragon Slayer Legend of Heroes for the TurboGrafx CD. Unlike most other action RPGs, Dragon Slayer 2 Xanadu is mostly played from a side-scrolling platformer perspective, although the battles do switch to an overhead view. The game was a big hit in Japan where it sold over 400,000 copies, so of course several sequels were planned. The Japanese version of the NES, the Famicom, was massively popular at the time, so it only made sense to make a Dragon Slayer game for it. Surprisingly, Nihon Falcom wouldn't be the company to develop the game, and instead Hudson Soft paid them for the licensing rights. Hudson Soft was another Japanese video game developer that is well known for making many big hits on the NES, including Bomberman, Milon's Secret Castle, and the Adventure Island series. They decided to just focus on the side-scrolling gameplay for their spin-off, and created the title as a portmanteau of Famicom and Xanadu. The story of Faxanadu sees the nameless player-controlled hero returning home after a long journey, only to find it in shambles. The elven fountain has run dry, and the remaining water is poisoned. The desperate king is willing to give out any amount of money to heroes that are willing to solve the problem, but no one that has tried has returned. This game was well regarded by critics when it released in North America in 1989, and modern reviewers still have love for this forgotten gem. When IGN released their list of the top 100 NES games of all time, they ranked Faxanadu at number 36. Modern players that attempt this game will still have to deal with all of the challenges the NES is notorious for. The massive world is a confusing maze, the enemies are relentless, and the bosses can kill you in seconds. But what if I told you the secret to starting the game with a full inventory of useful weapons, magic, and items? What if I told you the secret to manipulating random item drops so you'll always find what you need? And what if I told you how to defeat all of the game's challenging bosses? Even the evil one himself? Well, on today's episode of You Can Beat Video Games, we'll learn all of that and more. If you're new to the channel, we're doing deep dives on retro video games and giving you the professional strategies that can be used by the casual gamer. Please make sure to subscribe and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss any new episodes. Let's get started. Alright, Faxanadu. As we begin the game, take in the look of this scene. The water is run dry, everything is brown and desolate. The world tree looms in the background as we approach the castle gates. This is our home, the kingdom of Aeolus, the stronghold of the Elven Kingdom. What happened here? The gate is closed, the people are gone, the walls are crumbling. Well, we should enter this door, and we start out with no magic and very little health, so the best thing to do is head over to the right and just let this enemy kill you. Not only does dying here start us out with full health and full magic, but it also starts us in the Guru room, and we need to talk to this guy anyway. He gives us a very important item, the Ring of Elf. So, the best thing to do at the beginning of this game is to die. Once you have the Ring of Elf, exit the Guru's chambers and head to the left. On this screen, we encounter our first enemy. Make sure that you're walking a bit before you jump over them. Your movement speed and momentum is very important in this game. Over here, we'll find the castle. Since we have the Ring of Elf, we can enter this door. If you don't have it, you won't be able to get in. And you want to head up here and talk to the king. He tells us what the deal is. The elf fountain water has run dry. So many people went out to try to figure out what was going on, and none of them came back. The king will give us 1,500 gold, which he only does if we have exactly 0 gold whenever we meet him. And it's kind of hard to have any money at the beginning of the game. We can actually exploit this. If we can spend all of the money, we can go back to the king and he'll give us more. It's a little bit like that movie Brewster's Millions with Richard Pryor. As long as we can spend all of the cash that we were given, we'll be able to get more money. So over here in the store, we want to buy this exact set of items. First, buy the Elixir. The Elixir is an amazing item that will bring us back to life with full health and full magic if we die. We can only carry one of those, but once we buy it, we should also pick up 6 red potions. Now I'm going to speed this up. Takes a second to buy 6 red potions. The red potions are pretty good. We can use those as a consumable item to refill our health if we ever get low. Once you have 6 red potions, here's the trick. We need to sell one of them back to this guy. We can only hold 8 consumable items, and we're going to need all 8 before we leave here, but selling him one back will give us an even 300 gold, so that when we come over here into the key store, we can buy 3 J keys, or Key of Jack. There are some doors that have a Jack symbol on them, and whenever we see those, we need to use a J key there. The key will be consumed, so that's why we need to buy multiples. Once you've purchased all of those items, the elixir, the 6 red potions, sell one back, and the 3 J keys, we'll have exactly 0 gold. We can go talk to the king, and, well, it's like we've never met before. Well, glad you could come, strange person. And I think there might be something wrong with the king. Like maybe he has some kind of mental problem. I mean, look at his eyes. What's going on with his eyes? Does he have, like, dirt in them, or... Yeah, I don't know, but we're kind of taking advantage of this guy. We came in penniless once again, but now we have another 1,500 gold, and this time we're going to get some weapons, we're going to get magic. Don't forget to jump over that enemy who hides behind that foreground element. So we're going to go back to our store, and we're like, hey, what's up, man? We got all this money again. And he's like, hey, whatever works for you, man. I got stuff if you want to buy it. And so we'll buy the hand dagger, and that's going to be our primary weapon for a moment. And we're also going to buy Deluge, which is a magic spell. So that's what that green magic meter at the top of the screen is for. That is going to be for our Deluge. And we should equip those. So we equip the hand dagger and the magic. Now the hand dagger is short, so it can't actually hit enemies that are low to the ground. But that's why we have the Deluge magic. If you press up and B, you'll be able to shoot that magic. Now this guy sells dried meat, and dried meat is not an item you can take home with you. He just charges you 50 gold pieces to restore some of your health. Now, dried meat is actually a good deal, and because it only costs 50 gold, it's a good way to waste 100 gold pieces. Now we have 600, and if we come all the way over here to the left, we're going to jump over these two enemies. Once again, I'm going to get hit intentionally here so you can see what these next two vendors do. You'll notice that these enemies won't drop any gold. They're called Zozuras, but they drop loaves of bread which can restore your health. Now, this guy says that he can give us some magic. Well, for 200 gold, he will restore our magic points. The next guy in the other room here, who looks like he's, I don't know what he's doing with his arms there, but he wants to give us a martial arts lesson. Don't get excited about that. It doesn't make you stronger in the game in any way, shape, or form. It just restores your health. And it's a good way to waste 200 gold. You can even do it if you already have full health. The magic guy will also accept your money as well. And so we've wasted all of our money again. We'll come over here to the king, and wow, it's like a disaster has befallen the elf kingdom. Who are you, young man? Would you like some money? I mean, I guess money is not going to be very useful if everyone's dead, so this guy might as well give us his money. We're going to try to solve this problem, and spoiler alert, we're going to do it. So this is actually money well spent. He may have given us 4,500 gold pieces, a lot more than he's given other people, but we're going to save this 1,500 gold. We have all of the items, weapons, magic that we need from this town, so it's time to move on. Head all the way to the right to where that enemy was that we let kill us before. And this time we're going to attack him. He has exactly 11 hit points, so one hit of the deluge and one attack from our hand dagger will kill him. And it's actually possible to do both at the same time. The speedrunners call that a shiner strike, so you can try to go for that if you want to, but just keep making your way to the right, and you have to use your deluge on the Zozuras or just jump over them. You can actually do 40 shots of deluge though, so don't worry too much about running out of magic. You would really rather just kill those enemies so you can get the breads that they drop. This part of the game is fairly straightforward. Make your way to the right. These one-eye guys are called monodrons, and you'll notice that they drop gold pieces whenever they die. You want to pick those up. We're going to need money to buy more stuff at the next town, which is called Apolloon, or we might want to spend our money at this little store in here. This guy only sells 2 items, and they are both very expensive. The magic shield is actually very good, and that's a good price for it. You might actually want to save up for it and buy it right now, but that would take a long time, so we're just going to move on at this point. Death magic can be bought later in the game for less gold, and we probably don't need it this early, although it is very good. If you didn't get the magic shield, we will want to come to this tool store and spend 800 gold pieces to buy the small shield. It's not even close to as good as the magic shield, but it will protect us from some magic damage, and there are going to be enemies that will be shooting at us very soon. If we enter this cathedral, we can talk to the guru, who will give us our password, and also if we were to die, we would now respawn at this cathedral instead of the one back in Aeolus. This town also has a hospital where you can spend some money and it will refill your health and magic entirely. It sounds like a good deal, but most of the time the hospital is way overpriced compared to going to the meat shop. In the town of Apolloon, there is no meat shop, so the hospital is our only option. He tells you not to try too hard. What a nice guy. Yeah, the healthcare situation in this world is not good. We're going to make our way to the right, and we're going to come to our first dungeon. This is called the Tower of Trunk. We need to use one of our J keys to get in. That's why we bought 3 of them at the beginning of the game. Once we get inside here, we're going to be introduced to a concept called item rooms. That's an item room, so watch what happens. We entered it once, twice, 3 times, and now on the 4th time, we're going to clear out all the enemies, and we're going to find an item, the Matic. Getting the Matic here is extra awesome, because normally you would have to fight the first boss to get it. Now you can actually skip the first boss entirely. This concept of item rooms is very important. Whenever you enter one of these item rooms, the game increases an invisible counter. Whenever we first entered that room, the counter went from 0 to 1, and then we entered it 4 times. Whenever we have the counter increased to 4, the next time we would enter the room, it would wrap back around to 1. But as long as we have it on 4 and we clear all of the enemies, that's when we'll get the item. It seems like the items spawn randomly, but it's not actually random at all as long as you know which room the treasure rooms are. And I'm going to reveal those to you. There's another one right here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you did it correctly, when we clear all of the enemies, we should find the hourglass item, which I definitely recommend that you get. Now, if you mess it up and you didn't get the hourglass, just leave the room, come back, and clear all of the enemies again, and just keep doing it until you actually get the hourglass. Then you'll be back on track and you can start keeping track of how many item rooms you've entered. We will use that hourglass on a late game boss, although if you want to use it earlier than that you can, but be cautioned, it will take away half of your health. This is that first boss, the Wyvern, also known as a Ripashiku, and if you stand right here, he can't actually damage you. It takes a lot of damage to kill him, so I'm going to speed this up. This guy has 75 health, and your dagger only deals 5 damage. But be patient if you want to fight this guy. He does drop a lot of money, but if you got the Matic earlier, you don't have to waste your time fighting this guy, and you may just want to avoid this battle. Whenever you think you got it, you can just go down there. And don't get a second Matic if you're already holding one, but I'm actually already holding 8 items, so it didn't pick that second one up for me. It's very difficult to get rid of a second Matic. You can only sell items at a store that sells that item. So be careful, you don't want to actually be holding on to an extra Matic. That would be pretty annoying. When you come down here, we're going to exit the Tower of Trunk. These enemies are called Snowmen, and you'll notice if you just walk right towards them with full movement speed, they'll just jump right over you. And movement speed is important in this game. Whenever you're trying to make jumps, always make sure you have some momentum behind you. You don't want to take a jump from a standing start unless it's a very small jump that you need to make. Always at least take a few steps. Take out this Monodron and exit the Tower of Trunk. And then we can move on to the right. Now this is another item room, and so we actually crossed 2 item rooms leaving that Tower of Trunk. So it's only going to take us 2 entries to set up a 4 for this room. The speedrunners call this room Fight Club, and whenever we take out these 2 Monodrons, if we were correct about our item count, a red potion will appear. Now if you want to get that red potion, and it didn't appear for you, you can just re-enter the room and clear the enemies again. It might have actually been a good idea to use one of the red potions that I do have before picking that one up. Fortunately, we're going to make it to another town shortly here, so I think we're going to be okay. But don't be afraid to use some of your red potions. We actually have too many items right now, so we may need to sell a few of them off. It's almost always better to use a red potion than to use our elixir. Certainly the elixir was very cheap back in the town of Aeolus, but if we go back to the room where we used the Matic, that wall will have respawned, and we won't be able to go through there easily. In fact, we would have to bring another Matic and go through the wall, and then we would need a second one to get back through whenever we came back the other way. So it would be a huge pain. We've made it to the next town. This is the town of Fourpaw. Here in Fourpaw, they have a dried meat dealer that sells meat for only 150 gold, while the hospital treatments cost 500. The meat is a way better deal. Over here at the tool store, there are a lot of items that we need. In order of priority, we need the long sword, the studded mail, and a winged boots. The long sword is the most important. It not only deals twice as much damage as our hand dagger, but it also has more reach. We need to make some room in our inventory so that we can hold that winged boots. So that's why I'm going to sell a couple red potions. You may have more space in your inventory if you needed to use a few of those when you were out on the road. If you have the money to buy the armor and the winged boots, well then you're in good shape. But if not, let's stop over at the guru first. Don't forget to equip the long sword. He will give us our password, but also since we have more than 1,000 experience points, he'll give us a new title, Aspirant. Leveling up isn't that important in this game, but you will not get credit for leveling unless you visit a guru. Over here on the left side of Fourpaw, we can fight this enemy called a Charon over and over again to collect the gold that we need to buy the studded mail and also the winged boots. So I'm going to speed this up. Some people call this guy a panda, or even Ryu because he shoots a Hadouken like the character from Street Fighter. Whenever you have at least 2,500 gold, head back into town and get that studded mail. The studded mail will reduce any damage that we take by 10%, so that's going to help us a good bit moving forward. We need the wing boots to complete a story objective, and also to be able to move forward in the game. At this point in the game, what we need to do is revive the 3 fountains, and then that will open up the main fountain, which will take us on to the next part of the game. One of the 3 fountains that we need to revive is way up in the sky, and we'll need wing boots which allow us to fly to get up there. Once you have more than 2,200 experience points, you can talk to the guru and get another title, and these titles don't actually make you more powerful in the game. They don't make you deal more damage, they don't give you more health or more magic points. All they actually do is they work as sort of an insurance. If you die, you'll return to that guru with a certain amount of experience points, the lowest amount for that level, and an amount of gold, which is kind of useful. You can actually die and come back with more gold than you had when you left. You also keep all of your items when you die, so there are certainly ways to abuse the ranks. The problem with the ranking, though, is if you rank up too high, it will reduce the amount of time that you can use the wing boots. So you don't want to rank up too much early in the game, because we are going to need to use the wing boots a good bit early on here. The other thing that raising your rank does is it makes you accelerate from walking to running a bit faster. It's not that noticeable at first, but it will be noticeable later on whenever you have a lot of ranks. So that is a good reason to rank up, but I definitely don't recommend that you rank up too much early on, because we are going to need to max out our wing boots flying time. Once we have that 2,800 gold, we can buy the first pair of wing boots over here at the item store. Make sure you have a slot for it in your inventory. It's one of those consumable items. And I'm just going to kill some enemies so I can spend some money on dried meat and fill up our health. I think only 2 treatments will do it. Oh, easily. The dried meat is great value. And once we have the long sword, the studded mail, and 1 pair of wing boots, it's time to revive those springs. Once we exit town here, this is actually an item room. So if you've been keeping track of your count, there we are, we've entered it now for the 4th time. So we're going to take out these Uinarus, and we're going to get an item called the Ointment. If you don't get the Ointment, just fight the Uinarus again and again until it appears. This will prevent us from taking any damage. Get a big running start before you jump off to the right there. And then we can just walk through these enemies. And when we get to the next screen, this is where we want to use our wing boots. Press down and B to use them, and then press up and A to fly. There's a little counter next to the letter T in the upper right hand corner of the screen. That's how much time you have left on your wing boots, and at this rank we get a full 40 seconds. We need to talk to this old man, and he will revive the first spring. If we talk to him again, he'll also tell us about another guru, and that guru will give us a key if we've talked to this guy already. So that's why we want to go to this one first, so that whenever we go to the next tower, we can get the key from the guru in the Tower of Fortress. We still have a lot of time on our wing boots, so it's going to save us a lot of hassle if we can just hurry over here to the left and fly back up the way that we came. Otherwise, you have to go all the way around to the left, and that's more annoying. So it's better if you can just fly up here. This will make your life a lot easier. The power of the ointment has worn off, but that's okay. Just make your way over here to the left. We are about to enter that Tower of Fortress, which we can fly up to. And that's the fountain that we're ultimately trying to fix whenever we revive the 3 springs. That's how we'll be able to get through to the next area. We use the J key to get in here, and once you get inside, make your way to the right. We could fly up there if we had more power on our wing boots, but there's a good chance that they're going to have expired at this point. We have 2 main objectives here in the Tower of Fortress. The first is we have to revive another one of those springs, and we must have an elixir to do it. So if you used up your elixir, I'm going to show you how you can get one in this fortress, but I'm going to do that after I revive the spring since I already have my elixir. If you don't have an elixir, you'll want to stay tuned for that part so that you'll know where to get one, because you're going to have to go there first. Make your way over to the right. That snowman will just jump right over you if you walk right at him. Just keep making your way to the right over here. Take out this Charon and climb the ladder. This snowman is pretty annoying. I'll take him out with some deluges. We have plenty of magic. No reason not to use it. Climb up here. Use your magic on these snowmans. Make sure to get some momentum before you make that jump, or you'll fall down to the area below. And there's that spring right above. We do need to have an elixir though. Climb up this ladder and head over to the right. He's going to take our elixir, so we're going to be without it, but we're going to go get another one anyway. We would ideally like to be carrying an elixir at all times so that we're always safe just in case we were to die. Only one more spring is needed to be revived before we can move on here, so we're actually doing really well. Take out that Charon, and we're going to get this ointment. The ointments are going to be critical to our strategies in this game. So once you have it, you want to hurry down, climb this ladder, and make your way to the left. Remember, these enemies will only be able to damage you with their magic. You can just kind of hurry past them and climb this ladder. Make your way up the ladder and then go over to the left. Stay on the top here. Don't get that potion. That's actually poison and will damage you. Avoid that. Climb this ladder. It's kind of hard to see. And make your way over to the right. It looks like our ointment wore off. Now, this boss is called the Rock Vaulter, but we're just going to walk past him right now, and we can pick up an elixir in this room. So we lost the elixir before, but now we got it back, and if we just walk right into the Rock Vaulter here, we can use our elixir and fill ourselves up to full health, and then you'll see that the elixir here just keeps on respawning, so we can get it as many times as we want. The first time we defeat the Rock Vaulter, he'll drop a set of wing boots and a bunch of money. Then we can actually just use our elixir so that we'll go back to full health, and we can just keep fighting him over and over again. You won't get any more of the wing boots, but you will keep getting the gold. So this is not a bad place to gain a bunch of money, and we will need money later in the game. So if you want to farm a bit there, it's not a terrible idea. It's hard to jump over this guy unless you have some momentum from the previous screen. But just keep making your way over to the left. The other thing that we needed to do in the Tower of Fortress here is visit a guru who will give us a special key, the Joker key, which we need to use to open up the area where the third spring is. Climb up this ladder. But before that, there's actually an item room right below us where we can actually get more wing boots. One great thing about wing boots is we can sell them at the store in Fourpaw for a whole bunch of money. Since they sell them for 2,800 gold, we can actually sell them back for 1,400. So make sure that you enter this room on the right number. If you didn't get the wing boots, just leave and then fight the bees again. Make sure to stay up on this ledge so that you can collect the wing boots. If your energy is low, use a red potion. You can replace it then with a wing boots, which we're just going to sell for a bunch of money anyway. And keep fighting the bees when you've entered the room on the fourth. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the boots will spawn again, and they'll just keep spawning here as long as you have the right item room number. Yep. And once you're maxed out on wing boots, which we are, very nice, we can use one more red potion to open up a space for the key that we need. Enter this cathedral and speak to the guru, and he'll give you that Joker key. It's probably a good idea to make sure you have an open item slot for it, because it will overwrite whatever the last item is in your inventory. Remember that entering this room again will increase our item room number, and then head out the door below. We're going to make our way back over near to where Fourpaw is, and we're going to get that ointment again. So remember, whenever we left the guru's room, we increased our item room number to 1, so 3 and 4. This should make the ointment appear. And if we're wrong, just leave this room and keep fighting the enemies over and over again until the ointment does appear. It can't possibly take you more than 4 times to get it. And there it is. Once you have it, make sure to get a running start and jump over to the right. And this is where we're going to use that Joker key. Inside, there's another one of those wyvern enemies. And as long as we don't get hit by his magic blasts, the ointment will keep you safe. Talk to this guy, and he will revive the spring. And make sure to talk to him a second time. This is super critical. He'll give you the ruby ring. If you don't have the ruby ring, you will not be able to move on, and you'd have to go back and get like another Joker key. Now we still have the effects of the ointment, so we might as well fight this wyvern a couple more times and collect the money. Just keep jumping at his head, that will help you avoid his fireballs. If you do get hit by a fireball, you will take damage, so watch out for that. And once the ointment has worn off, you can exit that room. Watch out for the Charon on the other side. And we're going to have to take the long way back to Fourpaw this time. Climb up the ladder here on the left. This guy seems to always hit me. Take him out and move over to the right. Climb up the ladder. And we're back to Fourpaw. It's probably a good time to visit the Guru. We have a lot more experience points, so we will rank up. We're a Chevalier now. Nice. We are a little bit faster. It's starting to get noticeable. The dried meat vendor can fill up our health and magic. And before we leave here, we definitely need to pick up 3 queen keys. Well, you don't actually need 3. You need at least 1. The other 2 are for optional side quests, and to be completely honest with you, I recommend that you don't do those side quests. Before we go over and buy the keys, we'll make the space in our inventory by selling these wing boots. We're going to be able to find a wing boots right when we enter the next area, but it's kind of annoying to get, so you may want to save 1 wing boots in your inventory. If you don't, that's okay though, you'll be able to grab one not very far from here. Wing boots are going to be key to our strategy moving forward, so if you want to keep one around, it's not a bad idea. This is where we can get those queen keys. Make sure to get at least 1, but if you want to try some of these side quests, you may want to grab a second or a third one. And we're going to get that ointment again. We might as well. It'll make moving forward a bit easier here. So take out those enemies, grab the ointment, and head on up the ladder. We're going to head over to where that dry fountain was. Now that we've revived all 3 springs, that fountain will be flowing. And we just need to press against the rock, so just press to the left, and eventually it will open up and release a ladder. At this door up here, we'll need to use that queen key, so if you didn't buy it, you're going to have to go back to Fourpaw and grab one. And we've made it. We're into a whole nother area. The very first room that you enter in this misty area is an item room, so if we re-enter it 3 more times from the top, and then clear all of the enemies, we can get a wing boots. Now, we do need a wing boots to move forward here, but this is kind of an annoying way to get one. So if you don't want to get the wing boots in this way, it's a good idea to keep one instead of selling them all before at the previous town. This is why it's annoying. We have to wait for this hornet to come up here, and it's like, come on, hornet. We got things to do, man. Just come up here and get killed. But once it gets up there, we also have to do some tricky platforming to get the wing boots. So get a running start and then jump, jump, jump. Don't stop moving. And that's it. Now if you fall down to the bottom, you won't get the boots, and you do need a pair to move forward here, so reset the item room if you have to and try it again. The next town is called Maskin, and we want to head all the way over to the right here, and we'll be able to get into it easily. Whenever you see that dwarf enemy, which is called a Sir Gawain, you just want to stand in one spot and hit him at far range with your weapon. If you try to jump over him, he'll go berserk and just start chasing you, so you need to attack him in one spot for a moment. And here it is, we made it to Maskin. over here in the tool shop, we can see what this guy has for sale. The large shield costs 3,500 gold, and we should also buy the thunder magic if you're interested in it for 1,200. It's not very much money, so that's definitely worth picking up. You'll notice that this guy sells Maddox, which we don't need for the rest of the game, but if you're carrying an extra one for some reason, this is a place where you could sell it off. The town of Maskin has a meat store, so it only costs 180 gold to restore our health and magic. As usual, the meat is a good value. Don't forget to equip the large shield after you buy it. It will prevent more damage that is dealt to us from projectiles. This next part is going to be optional. We're going to go into a tower where we can find unlimited red potions. And you can see there what the thunder magic looks like. If you want to do it, come up here and we're going to head over to the left. But remember, this is completely optional, and we can actually buy red potions at a shop that we're going to visit soon, where they only cost 300 gold. So ask yourself, how worth it is it to do this? It requires one of those queen keys, so you'll need to have an extra one of those. And this is it. The Tower of Infinite Potions. Totally optional, and I kind of recommend that you don't go in here. In this tower, we first encounter a very annoying enemy. That blue guy with the hat is called a Sugata, and he will damage you automatically, and there's nothing you can do about it except for hurry off the screen as fast as possible. Keep a red potion ready so that you can heal yourself whenever you've taken too much damage. Once you get up next to him, you can try to kill it quickly, but remember, these enemies respawn every time you enter the next screen. Try to get a little bit of a running start from the previous screen to jump over here, and then climb these ladders to the top. Over here on the left, that's the red potion. Try to get a little bit of a running start from the platform on the far right, and then quickly make your way across. If you drop down to the bottom, you'll annoyingly have to clear out these enemies again. But fill up your inventory with red potions, and you may even want to use one to fill up your health before you leave. Like I said though, I don't really recommend that you come up here. 300 gold to buy a red potion at the next shop is like nothing. You just don't have to do this challenging platforming, deal with the Sugata enemies, but if you want to, that's what's in this tower. Do your best to not take too much damage as you leave. You'll probably end up having to use one of those red potions that you picked up right away. So, yeah, it's just not great value to go in here. I've used red potion. And then run for the door. There's just nothing you can do about those Sugata guys. They're kind of unfair and not a very good design. That enemy is called a Naga, and this guy always drops very good bread. We can just head back to the town of Maskin. There's nothing else here on the left side of Maskin, so if you wanted to skip that potion tower, which you should, instead of coming over here to the left, you're going to want to cross the town and exit on the right side. I'm going to hit up the dried meat guy, and man, he's always blinking. It's like this guy is flirting with me. I mean, maybe he's just really happy that we're buying a lot of meat, but I don't know. I mean, he can't compete. If the hospital would lower their prices, we would probably just go there instead. It's more convenient, you only have to do it one time, but they are just way too expensive. These enemies kind of look like Metroids. They're actually called Baihorudas, but feel free to call them Metroids, they'll never know. You can try to take that ladder over on the right if you don't have a pair of wing boots to use, but it's a lot easier to just fly up here. And make sure to pick up all the gold, because this is a very important shop. This is where we can buy the death magic for 9,800 gold, instead of the 12,500 that shop at the beginning of the game tried to charge. We can also get 256 gold by killing all 3 enemies out here, and I'm going to speed this up, but if you just keep farming these enemies, we can easily get the money we need to buy that death magic very quickly. This guy will also sell elixirs, so if you had to use your elixir at some point, you can get another one here, and believe me, it is not easy to find a place to buy an elixir, so you should certainly take this opportunity to get another one. He also sells those red potions for 300 gold, so if you do get low on health while you're grinding money here, feel free to just buy a red potion from this guy and use it immediately. I'm going to get that death magic. Death is a very powerful magic spell. While the Deluge spell only deals 6 damage and the Thunder magic deals 9, Death deals 34. Yeah, this is going to be very powerful magic, especially against some of the bosses in the game. The only problem with Death is it does consume a lot of magic. We'll only be able to use it about 8 times on a full bar. We can use a red potion to fill up here, and then just buy another one from the vendor to replace it. And definitely consider grabbing an elixir if you don't have one. This is a pretty important store. So we're going to grab that red potion. You can also buy an hourglass here. There will be a place you can pick one up if you don't have one, but you will want an hourglass for one of the late game bosses. Make your way down the ladder through this misty area. I really enjoy the atmosphere in this part of the game. You just don't see layered graphics like this very often on the NES, and this is actually a very early title for the system. The music is also very good in this game and really adds to the experience. Once you get up here, make sure to stand still as you take out that Sir Gawain, and make your way over to the right. This room has a bit of a platforming challenge. You're going to want to get some momentum whenever you make that first jump, but you want to take the second jump from standing still, then get some momentum to make the third jump. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not that hard to do once you know what to do. Make your way over to the right, and this structure is affectionately known as the Bird Hospital. There's a cathedral in the middle, and it's time to get a new title, Warrior, which will get us a little bit more money if we die, and does make us accelerate to run a little bit faster. This door over here on the right is an item room, and it's kind of a weird one. You can't actually use your weapon in there, you can only use magic. So hopefully you know what item count you're up to, but if you don't, just fight the enemy in there 4 times until the item appears. You'll want to use your death magic, you can take him out in one shot with it. And here is a very easy place to get wing boots. Once you find the wing boots, you'll know that you only need to enter there 4 more times to get another set of wing boots. So I'm speeding this up. And this is a great place to build up experience levels or money. There's a guru right here, which can level you up whenever you reach enough experience points to gain a new rank. And it's very easy to fight the enemies from that lower platform. They really can't get you down there. So if you want to build up some money or some experience points, that's a good place to do it. We're going to come back here later to build up more levels. But before we do that, we're going to do another optional tower, and this is one that I absolutely recommend that you don't do. But if you want to see it, this is it. This is the Tower of Suffer. If you simply must attempt this optional side quest, the item that you're looking for is up the ladder on the right side. Head over into this room, and then take the ladder on the far right, climb up and take the ladder in the left. Up here there's a Sir Gawain, which always seems to hit me when I get to the top of the ladder, and we can take a shortcut here by using one of the wing boots that we got from the bird hospital. So fly on up here, and take this ladder to the top. You want to avoid this first wyvern. It's the next one that's the actual boss, and you're going to see the power of the death magic easily takes out that guy. And that item is called the Pendant. I do not recommend that you get the Pendant. Because of a programming error, the Pendant actually makes you deal less damage. It seems as though they programmed it backwards somehow, so you absolutely don't want to get the Pendant unless you insist on challenging yourself. Maybe if you're trying to complete the game with a full inventory or something like that. So that's where the Pendant is, but it's not a good idea to pick it up. Avoid the Pendant, avoid the Tower of Suffer. You don't have to do this side quest at all, just don't even buy the Queen Key that you need to get in here. It's not worth it. And now that we're out of there, let's get back to business. We used up a wing boots in the Tower of Suffer, so we're going to go back to the bird hospital and replace those. And this is another time where we can do an optional level grind. The next thing that we actually need to do is go to the town of Victim, and in that town they sell full plate armor. It only costs 5,200 gold. It's not actually that much, but if we take the time to level ourselves up to the soldier rank, which takes 18,000 experience, we can actually get the full plate armor for free. Now, I want to be able to show you that, and there are some benefits to being at the soldier rank. Right now we're going to get swordsman, so we need to gain 2 more ranks after that, and I'm going to speed this up because it will take a few minutes. But it's very easy to level up here. We will move a lot faster once we reach the soldier rank as well, so we will accelerate from our walking speed to our running speed much more quickly. That is relevant. However, at the swordsman rank, we've decreased our wing boots time down to 20 seconds. At soldier, we'll still be at 20 seconds. We won't actually reduce it to 10 seconds unless we gain 2 more ranks on top of that. It may actually be a good idea to stay at the lower rank and just spend the money to get the full plate armor, but I do want to be able to show you getting it for free, so I'm going to rank up to soldier. If you don't want to do it, feel free to skip this over. Remember, building up ranks does not increase the amount of damage that you do. It doesn't raise your hit points. It doesn't raise your magic points. All it does is give you a little bit more money whenever you die, or if you just use the password to start the game over again. And that's actually a good strategy that you can use. If you don't have a lot of money, you can talk to a guru, get a password, then just reset the game, put your password in, and you'll return to the game with a whole bunch of money. In fact, you can just spend all the money you have on items and get a password, and then just reset and immediately put the password in. And that's a good thing that you can do if you're at one of the higher ranks. So that's how you take advantage of the higher ranks in this game, by abusing the password system. and that's something that we might do later on in the game if we have an even higher rank. But for now, the only rank that you need is Soldier if you want to get that free armor. And when you get over to this room, you need to use a Wing Boots, and that will take you up here. And that's how we're going to get to the town of Victim. So just make your way over to the right. We have a few more seconds. Grab this ladder. If you don't have any more time left on your Wing Boots, you can use the ladder to get up here. And watch out for these hornets. Just climb down this ladder, and here it is. We've made it to the town of Victim. It's a good idea to visit the Guru. Just in case we were to die, then we'll return to this town. After visiting the Guru, we can skip right by the hospital, which costs 2,500 gold for a treatment, and get some meat for 10 times less. That's right, for only 250 gold, we can get a serving of meat. And we're going to buy 2 more just to fill all the way up, so I'm going to speed that up. And we can go over here to the key store, and this is extremely important. We need to buy 3 key Ks. They are also called King Keys. So these will open King doors, and it is extremely important that we get 3 of them here. So make sure you have space in your inventory. Use potions if you have to, whatever you need to do. Make sure that you can get 3 K keys. If we talk to this guy here in the bar, this is where we can get that full plate armor. You won't get it unless you are soldier rank or higher. Make sure to equip it. The full plate armor reduces the damage we take by 25%, which is a pretty big boost from the studded mail. So if you're not at soldier rank, make sure to buy it from the tool store for 5,200 gold. Outside on the right side of Victim, we need to use one of our Wing Boots. And it's kind of tricky to fly up through that crack, but you can make it up here, and you want to head over to the left, where we can find the Tower of Mist. The Tower of Mist is the key to this area. Inside we can find an item called the Black Onyx, and the Black Onyx is what we need to get the Ace Key, and the Ace Key will open up the next area of the game. So that's our mission. We need to get into that Tower of Mist, and to enter it we're going to need to use one of those King Keys. So that's why it was so important that we had to buy those. So get down in front of the door, equip your key K, and press up to enter the Tower of Mist. We'll see a new enemy here called a Mask Man. They're not that difficult to defeat, just kind of swing your sword wildly, and they will just jump right into it if you don't move. Be patient with these guys, take out this one on the bottom, and then hurry to the right. This is an item room. Now, I know from leveling up at the bird hospital that I'm already at count 4, so the ointment will appear here. But if you don't get the ointment, just keep entering and exiting this room, killing the enemies until it does appear. We want that ointment so that we can get through these boss level enemies on the bottom here. There's a wyvern down here. And then there's a Roko Suton in the next room, which looks like a weird walker thing. And it's just much easier to get past all this stuff if we have the ointment. Climb up the ladder and head over to the right. Jump over this gap. Make sure you have some momentum before you jump over it. And here's that Zorodona. This guy will probably damage you when you climb down the ladder, so I'm going to use a red potion before I head down there, but if you have more health available or more time left on the ointment, you can hurry down there as fast as possible. If you have magic available, the death spell is the easiest way to deal with this guy, but you can also try to trap him in a corner, and as soon as he turns around, jump and attack him in the face. It'll cause him to turn back around and he'll get stuck in that corner. Don't forget to pick up the black onyx. It does not take up one of your item slots, so you don't have to worry about that. And then we just have to get out of here. Make your way back to the left. Watch out for these enemies. They're pretty dangerous, so take your opportunities and just make your way through. Yeah, definitely might need a red potion here. We're actually getting low on those, so it's a good thing that we brought a bunch of them. Attack this wyvern in the face, grab that money, and make your way to the left. Climb up the ladder, and head over. It's probably a good idea to stay on top up here, but then drop down in this room. If you don't drop down, you'll get hit by a mask man as soon as you walk onto this screen. Don't forget that we passed through an item room and enter this door. We're out of the Tower of Mist. Nice work. Now that we have the black onyx, we can get the ace key that we need to get out of this misty zone. The black onyx is a piece of a meteorite. The meteorite struck the world tree in the story of this game, and that's what's causing all the problems. A evil presence came out of that meteorite, and that evil presence is essentially a space alien. So, yeah, I mean, that's where this story is going, aliens. Just like that fourth Indiana Jones movie. Well, I guess they were interdimensional travelers. We're going to fill up here at the dried meat shop in Victim before we leave. Also, if you don't have at least 2 K keys in your inventory, make sure to buy those from the key shop before you leave. And this is another good time to buy some red potions. We actually used a lot of them over in the Tower of Mist, so we can buy more here for 800 gold. That sounds pretty expensive, but it's a steal compared to what they charge later in the game. We're probably never going to come back to the town of Victim, so make sure that you have everything you need before you leave. Head on down. We're going to go to the right here. This enemy always drops bread, so if you need a little bit of health, that's a good way to fill up. They always reminded me of the tentacles in Maniac Mansion. They're called a lamprey in this game. Climb up that ladder and make your way over to the right. Take out the lamprey if you want to refill your health a bit. There's 2 lampreys in this room. Take them out and eat their delicious breads. And just continue to make your way over to the right. We are going to be able to get an optional magic here. It costs 3,000 gold. This is the magic of fire. Fire is not as powerful as death magic, but it doesn't cost as much magic points to use. Death magic costs 10, fire only costs 6. So it costs 2 more magic points than thunder, but fire does 24 damage. So as far as the ratio of magic points to damage, fire is very good. So I do recommend that you pick up the fire magic for only 3,000 gold before you leave the mist zone. Once you have it, climb up this ladder, and we're going to climb up this other ladder in the upper left corner. And I'm just going to show you this door. It requires a K key to enter, and they call this the useless tower. So that's just a dead end. You don't want to go in there. Avoid it. Once you've avoided the useless tower, we're going to go the proper way. So climb up this ladder. Of course, you can farm those lamprey enemies for health if you need it. Watch out for this guy. He also drops some bread for you. Most people just call them squids because, I mean, that's what they look like, but technically it's called a eureka. Over here we can see the useless tower below us, and in this room there's one of those Sugata enemies, so kill it quickly and enter this door, and this guy will give us that ace key. So as long as we had the black onyx, this guy will give us the key we need, and we'll now be able to go inside the branches of the world tree. Watch out for that Sugata enemy, equip your ace key, and enter the door. As soon as we enter the branches area, we will be assaulted by one of those bird enemies, which are actually called giant striders. You probably remember it from the bird hospital area, but now you can actually use your sword to fight them instead of just magic. There's a few Mask Man enemies in this room. They're in the way, so take them out. And in this room, we'll encounter a new enemy called a Temazutsu. So don't be surprised when he pops up on that ledge. This is an item room, and it's kind of an annoying one. There's only one enemy to fight in here, but you can easily miss the item that appears because it is behind a foreground element. So it's an ointment. You'll need to check and see if the ointment is there, and if it's not, just keep redoing this room until it does appear. Up here there's a Lamprey which we can attack to get a little bit of health back, or we can just walk on through since we have the ointment. The ointment will make it a lot easier to get up this ladder, so just climb on up through and make your way over to the right. That is a vial of poison, but unfortunately it is extremely difficult to avoid, so just make sure you have a decent amount of health. Use a red potion if you have to before you cross over that poison. And we did it. We made it to the town of Conflate. We can buy dried meat here for 350 gold, and as usual, that's a good deal. But the big draw here in the town of Conflate is a much needed upgrade to our weapon. We can buy the giant blade in this town for 8,500 gold pieces, and if you don't have enough money right now, I recommend going to the left of town and just farming those Charon enemies there until you have enough. We can also visit the guru to get our password, and I recommend that you take a picture of your password with your phone. It's very difficult to write the passwords down, the font is not very good, and they use like capital O and 0, so it's much better to just take a picture. Here at the tool store we can buy that giant blade, and you'll notice that they also sell the magic shield here. So if you didn't buy that all the way back at the beginning, now is the time to get it. We don't have enough money right now, so we're going to have to farm some with the Charon enemies out to the left of town. Luckily for us, they will stand no chance against the giant blade. It deals 25 damage, and we were only dealing 10 before. So let's see if we can just take these guys out in 2 hits now. Very nice. Collect whatever money they drop, and I'm going to speed this part up, obviously. We're trying to get up to that 9,800 gold so that we can get the magic shield. So just keep fighting these guys. The big thing that we need to do in this part of the game is find the battle suit and the battle helmet. We won't be able to equip them yet, so we can find either of them in whichever order we choose. Although which order you choose will certainly matter. If you collect the battle helmet first, and then you get the battle suit and die like immediately afterwards, you could be stuck without a K key that you need to use, and you would have to walk all the way back to the town of Victim. However, if you just make sure to keep track of your password, you won't have to worry about that. You can always go back to your password if you die. Getting the battle helmet first will allow you to have an extra slot in your inventory available because we won't need to carry as many keys. So that's the advantage to doing that first, and that's why we're going to go for the battle helmet first. So we definitely should have 2 K keys in our inventory, and once we've bought the magic shield, we'll be able to move on and go after that battle helm. Wow, it takes a long time for the money to drain when you buy something that costs 9,800 gold, but the magic shield is quite awesome. It will prevent 90% of damage from magic attacks, so we shouldn't have to worry about these Charon enemies out here on the left of town anymore. Their magic attacks will barely deal us any damage at all. We can go back to the dried meat guy and fill up our health, and then it's going to be time to go after the battle helm. Both pieces, the battle helm and the battle suit, are each guarded by a Zorodona Boss. We're gonna make our way back through the Charons at the front of town, go through this squid, and then we'll be back at that room with the poison. Unfortunately, you'll probably hit the poison again, so make sure that you have a decent amount of health before you touch it. You can fight these Lamprey enemies to get some of your health back. In the next room on the left will be a single Charon enemy guarding a door, and we will need to use one of our 2 key Ks to get inside here. Inside there are only a few rooms. You can fight these enemies for bread or just jump over them. And these 2 zombies, we want to coax them down to the lower platform so that we can attack them here. So right there is where you want to stand, and then you can just skip over that other one. Just jump up there and head over to the left. And here is that first Zorodona boss. You can use your death magic to fight this guy, or you can try to trap him in a corner. Once he turns around when he's trapped on the left or right side, that's when you want to attack, and it will cause him to turn back around the other way. And if you keep doing that, it will only take a few hits to finish him off. Remember, we can't equip the battle helm yet. We need to have the full set to be able to equip it, so we need the battle suit, the battle helm, and we also need the Dragon Slayer's sword. So we won't be able to equip any of that stuff until we have all of it. Although the battle helm is pretty awesome, it prevents 99% of magic damage and will replace your shield. Once you have those items equipped, you won't be able to unequip them, but we won't be able to put them on until we're almost at the end of the game. We can go back to town here if you need a refill, but we're actually doing quite well, so we're just going to proceed on to the next part, getting the battle suit. We will use our second key K here, and that's going to leave us with no key Ks. So if we die at this point, we'll return to the town of Conflate, and we won't have any keys to move on, and you'd have to go back to Victim to get some. This is an item room where we can find some ointment, so definitely take advantage of this. This is going to make the next part a whole lot easier. Make your way to the right once you have the ointment, and we're going to drop down between these 2 platforms. Now that's actually an item room, but you need to approach it from below. Don't touch the poison. That item room actually has an hourglass in it, so if you need an hourglass, that's a good place to go for it. And there was actually a second item room right before we went inside the door, but that one only has a mattock, and we definitely don't need a mattock for anything. In this area, we want to head down to the lower right corner. That's where we're going to find the battle suit. Down here is another item room, and we actually passed through 2 item rooms on the way here, so we should enter this one twice, and there's some zombie enemies hidden behind the foreground. If we fight those zombie enemies, we'll be able to get a set of wing boots, and we're definitely going to need wing boots to get out of this area, so make sure you have an open item slot available for them. Wait for that zombie to jump down, and the wing boots will be right there in the middle on the lower tier. Once you have them, you'll want to exit to the left and get up onto that middle tier so that we can climb up to the top of this room. If you climb up that ladder in the top, we will be able to get another excellent item, the magical rod. Unlike that pendant in the Tower of Suffer, the magical rod actually works and increases our magic attack power. So that's pretty awesome. We can try out our death magic now on this Zorodona Boss. And it should only take a few shots to take him out. Yeah, pretty awesome. The magical rod certainly increases our magic power. It's kind of what the pendant wanted to be for attack power, but for whatever reason that didn't work. Once you have the battle suit, make your way back out to the left. We don't have any more K keys, so we need to pick some up. There's another town that sells them up above us, the town of Daybreak. Now, this is a difficult jump to get to the ladder. If you're having trouble with it, you can just use your wing boots right now. I try to save them to the very last second, but if you just aren't making that ladder jump, it's okay. You don't need them too much. Fly up here, watch out for that zombie, and take this ladder up. Head over to the right. If we stay on the top here, we'll be able to pick up a glove power-up. We didn't get the one at the very beginning of the game because it was pointless, but this one is somewhat useful. It's actually hidden behind that pillar in the foreground. The glove increases our attack power by 25%, but it only lasts temporarily, sort of like the ointment or many of the other buffs that we can find. Be careful of this guy. You want to attack him from a lower tier when possible, and then climb up this ladder. Now this is an item room. I think that we're actually on the right count for this item. So whenever we clear all the enemies, yes, there are the wing boots. We are going to need 2 pairs of wing boots to finish the game, so this is the room where we are going to get them. We do have to come back through here later though, so it's not super critical that we pick up both pairs right now. Take care of these enemies, watch out for the giant strider down below. And this is the town of Daybreak. The first thing we want to do here in the town of Daybreak is purchase 2 K keys. If you got the battle suit but died on the way to Daybreak and don't have any K keys in your inventory, you're going to be in big trouble. You probably should just reset the game and input your last password, because you'll go back to the town of Conflate, and the only way you'll be able to move forward in the game is to walk all the way back to the town of Victim to buy K keys. So that's why it's very important to keep track of your passwords at this point in the game, just in case a disaster happens. If you did have an extra K key on you though, you could theoretically just die on purpose and be warped back to Conflate, because that's actually where we need to go right now. Once you've obtained the battle suit, you can go to see the guru in Conflate, and he's going to give you the Ring of Dwarf, which will allow us to move forward in the game. The only things that we really need in the town of Daybreak are those K keys, and they also sell the most powerful magic spell in the game, Tilte, but we won't be able to buy it unless we have 15,000 gold pieces. So we'll need to think about how we're going to get that much money if we're interested in buying that spell. Make your way over here to the left, and this is where we're going to use our first key K. We will use another one to get back to Daybreak, but we need to get all the way back to the town of Conflate. We need to get that Ring of Dwarf. You don't actually have to get the battle helm. You just need to get the battle suit so that you can get this ring. But if you don't pick up the battle helm, you'll never be able to equip all of the best equipment. So it is pretty important. Make your way down to the bottom here. Head over to the right. And we are back to the town of Conflate. See, it wasn't very difficult to get back here. Once we make it back into town, we can stop at the dried meat dealer to get ourselves some more meat, fill up that health and magic power. It's always a good deal. What's up, dried meat guy? Looks like he shaved his head recently. He probably knew we were coming and wanted to look nice. Once we meet with the guru, he gives us some pretty obvious advice. we should equip the very best weapon, armor, and helmet for the final battle. Yeah, no way, we would have never figured that out. I am so happy this guy told us how to do that. We should use the best equipment? Man, I would have never figured that out. Well, we got the Ring of Dwarf, and now that we have it, we can actually go to the right of that Daybreak city that we were in before. The way would be blocked if we don't have the ring, but now that we have it, we can finally move on to the final chapter of the game. Climb up this ladder, take out the Lamprey, eat the bread, and we're going to use our second key K. We'll go through the door here and back to the green zone. Watch out for that zombie. We could get the ointment in this room. That will make the next bit of the journey a lot easier. So let's take advantage of that. We passed through an item room a couple times right outside of Daybreak, and also when we passed through this room before. Now our item room counter has been reset, and we'll go across the gap this time. Head over to the right. And we don't need a key K to get through the door on this side. Head up the ladder, we are making our way back to the town of Daybreak. Just hurry over to the right, we can walk right through all of the enemies because we have the power of the ointment on our side. So just climb up, and we do want to collect another pair of wing boots here. So we need to reset the item room. So 2, 3, and 4 times. If we got the ointment in the previous item room, we should have to enter this room 4 times and then clear out the enemies so that we can get a wing boots. If you don't have any wing boots right now, you want to have at least 2 pairs before you move forward here. So just enter and exit this room another 4 times and clear the enemies again to get a second pair of wing boots. You ideally also would like to have an hourglass at this point. There is an item room back in that green area where you can find one. Head over here. We need to get a bunch of money, so we're going to talk to the guru, and this is a good time to actually just get the password and reset the game. We only have 2,700 money, and with the rank of champion, we'll be able to return with 9,000. So I'm going to speed this up, and you'll notice that my password actually has a 0 and a capital letter O in it. You can also see that the capital letter H looks a lot like an N. So this is why I recommend taking a picture of their password with your phone. And we now have 9,000 gold pieces. Unfortunately, we need 15,000 gold pieces to be able to get the Tiltte magic. So if we want it, we're going to have to farm some gold. I recommend just fighting this giant strider right over to the left of town. That way, if you do take some damage, you could always just pop back into town and use the dried meat vendor to get back up to health. So just keep fighting this giant strider until we have 15,000 gold. This is completely optional though. If you have the hourglass item, the boss that you would use the Tiltte magic on won't be very difficult. So you should be able to beat him without it. So if you don't want to take the time to grind up to 15,000 gold, you don't have to. The Tiltte magic does the most damage of all the magic spells in the game, but it does consume a ton of magic points, so you won't be able to use it very much. The best thing about it though is that it arcs upwards into the air, and I'll show you how that works once we wait for us to count out all the money to give to the tool store guy. I imagine that we may have actually had 15,000 separate gold pieces, so we had to put them all on the counter, and he had probably to count them a couple times to make sure that we had the right amount. So, yeah, wait here. And finally, we were able to purchase the magic. And let's take a look at what it does. So it shoots up into the air and explodes, but look how much magic power it used. Yeah, that's a lot. So it's very useful for attacking enemies that are above you, but it is very magic point heavy. We'll visit the dried meat guy, he'll get us filled up. And now that we have the final magic spell, it's time to move on to the final part of the game. Over to the right of daybreak, we'll find a door that we won't be able to enter unless we have the Ring of Dwarf, but we have it now. So just make your way over to the right. The death magic is very good to take out that enemy. You can shoot it through the wall there. Take out this guy from below. Watch out for those hornets. And just keep making your way over to the right. This section of the game is not too difficult. Take out the lamprey, and there's the door. That's the door that's going to take us to the final area. And here it is. If you climb up this ladder and head over to the left, we can find a hidden item room which will contain infinite red potions. So if we need some red potions, we want to enter the second door from the right, and we will have to use magic to defeat this zombie enemy here. But if we did it correctly, we'll find a red potion. Now if you didn't find a red potion, you can just exit the room and enter it again, kill the enemy, and keep doing it until you find the red potion, and then you'll be on the right item room count. So you should just exit and enter the room 4 more times, and then you'll find the red potion again. So that's how you get infinite red potions here. And you may want to fill up your inventory with them, and also fill up your health. Once you have enough red potions, make your way back to where the door was, and we're going to climb down the ladder and drop down into this hole. This is the final town in the game. This is the town of Dartmoor. Dartmoor feels like a very typical final town in an RPG. There's nothing special here, although we can visit our dried meat friend for one last time. We can also talk to the guru and get our password. It's probably a good idea, just in case we make a mistake. And once we're done in here, exit the town, and it's time to go find the Dragon Slayer sword. After defeating that lamprey, you want to climb up the ladder and then drop down on the left side and take the ladder downwards. Once you get down here, we'll go down to the bottom and head over to the left, and then drop down this pit. We're kind of making our way to the lower right corner. So head over to the right, and we're going to climb this ladder. We want to be on the top here. Watch out for these hornets, they are fairly annoying. We can use our fire magic to take them out. Fire is a very efficient magic, so it's a good taking care of everyday kind of problems magic. That door right there will take us into the Evil Fortress, which is the final level of the game, but we can't get in there just yet. First, we have to enter the Fraternal Castle, so climb up this ladder, and then head up the ladder on the right. We need to get up on the top platform here, and then jump all the way over to the right, but you may want to lure that enemy over to the right first. There we go, now that he is gone, jump over here. And we're going to head to that ladder in the lower right corner. And from there, we're going to be able to jump to a door, which will take us inside the Fraternal Castle. So be careful, make sure you have a bit of momentum to make that jump. And once you get inside, take care of that hornet and move over to the right. Watch out for the giant strider and climb down this ladder. Climb down the second ladder as well, and you want to head down to the right. And you can just run underneath that guy, just as we always do. Take him out. And in this room, this is an item room, but it's a strange kind of item room. You'll be able to actually see the item when it appears. So you saw that the ointment is there now, so take out that Bora Bora and then grab the ointment. Once we have the ointment, we're going to be able to run to the boss. So head over here and we're going to use one of our 2 wing boots. We only have 10 seconds to use it, so fly up and head over to the right. Climb up this ladder. And then fly over and enter this door. This is King Grieve. King Grieve is the most difficult boss in the game, and unfortunately, our ointment is going to run out very shortly. You could attack him with the Tilte magic, which does a ton of damage and can angle up into the air, which is very effective for hitting King Grieve. But the real trick to beating him is to use the hourglass. You probably will need to use a red potion immediately after using the hourglass, because it takes away half of your life, but it makes it so that King Grieve can't spit fireballs at you anymore, and so you just want to wait for him to swoop down, and then hit him multiple times with your giant blade. It's that simple. Once he's defeated, grab the Dragon Slayer. We need to do one more thing here in the Fraternal Castle. Do not leave the Fraternal Castle without visiting the Guru down the ladder below. So enter this room, and for a demonstration, I'm going to attack this monster. You'll see that it takes 5 hits to defeat him. Now, I'm going to enter here and talk to the Guru, and he's going to give us the Demon Ring, which is what we need to get into the final fortress. Once we leave here, I will equip the Dragon Slayer sword, and you can see how much more powerful it is. It's not a lot more powerful than the giant blade, but it is the best weapon in the game. So let's take a look at that. And it will automatically equip the battle helm and the battle suit, and you'll suddenly have this slick suit of armor on. Pretty cool. You can see that now it only takes 4 hits to defeat that enemy. Once you have the demon ring, climb up the ladder. We just need to make our way back the way we came, so run underneath that snowman. We can climb up this ladder, but watch out for the giant strider. And we need to climb up that other ladder. Once we get out of the Fraternal Castle, we will be already very close to the evil fortress, and I have good news for you. The final level of the game is actually very easy, as long as you have those winged boots. I sure hope you remember to bring those. I was pretty serious about it when I said we needed 2 pair. Climb up this ladder. You can take out this enemy with some magic. Thunder works good, or Death will just take him out in one shot. If you can't afford to do Death, then Thunder will just knock him off the ladder, which could at least be helpful. Come down here, and we will be able to enter this door, assuming you got that demon ring. Here is where we will use the winged boots, so fly up here, and we don't have a lot of time, so don't mess around with these enemies. Just fly through them, come over here and grab the ointment. That is extremely important. This is how we're going to beat the final boss. And then just fly up to the ladder. Once you get to the ladder, You don't need the wing boots anymore, so it's okay if they wear off. And then enter the door, and it's time to fight the final battle. With the power of the ointment, the evil one actually can't damage us, so just keep jumping and stabbing it in the face, and he will go down very quickly. We've done it. We've completed Faxanadu. All we can do now is sit back, relax, and enjoy the cheesy ending. Well, I hope this video was able to help you finally defeat the evil one and restore peace to the land of the world tree. If it did, make sure to give it a like, and make sure to subscribe for more videos, because there will always be more fantasy worlds to save, and that's why we'll be back again next week with another video game you can beat. Thanks for watching.